is the Fuel Sports Network.
Behold the king of kings.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
I'm dropping the hammer.
No, you're not.
And that's the bottom line.
Here, have a quarter, make a phone call.
I have wrestled with an alligator.
What?
I done tussled with a whale.
What?
I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail.
Funky butt loving.
Did he say funky butt loving?
There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
Let the big dog eat.
Woo! Whoa! Woo! Woo! It's time!
This is the Derek King Sports Show.
And we're back. You know, every single week, it's always, I hate that. I'm asymmetrical. So, you know, I always hate when the logo's like off to the side. It drives me nuts. I don't know if you guys, if y'all have some kind of like a little bit of like a mental tick, something that, you know, drives you crazy. I've got several things. We'll get into that. It's going to be a great show today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, but get in the comments. Tell me what your mental tick is. Like the one thing that just drives you nuts, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of things that drive me nuts, and we'll get into that. But welcome to the new and improved Derek King Show. We've dropped the sports because we will still talk about sports, but we're going to talk about everything. It's going to be a little bit more variety to the show. We're going to, you know, make some changes. And obviously we've made some huge changes with what's been going on. As everyone knows, for the last several years, I've been involved with creating and building formerly known as Gateway City. We early on in the year started partnering with Fuel and working with them on building an amazing platform and working with them to every extent we could to build a really great product. And one of the things that we're very, very happy with was how things started to turn out and how they coalesced. So we decided that we were going to partner and that we were going to work together, and that it was just because of the shared vision that we had. That's why we decided to do what we are doing, which is obviously you could see up here in the, you know, upper right-hand corner for you all is that Fuel logo. And that's what you're going to see from here on out, because Gateway City is now a part of Fuel. Fuel is Gateway City. Gateway City is kind of like, I use the analogy with some folks, it's kind of like WCW was with WWE when they kind of brought it in. It just got absorbed and it just kind of went away. That's what Gateway City is now. It's not dead. It's just, it went on the shelf like those helmets and everything up there. And so we're still going to be doing the same kind of stuff. We're still going to be talking about sports. We're still going to be doing all the same stuff that we normally do. It's just these are natural progressive changes that we're going to come to these to this format. And I love change. I like change. It's different. It's new. It's fun. It's exciting. And I just wanted to get that out of the way. And if you guys hadn't seen the press release, there has been a press release. It's over there on the social accounts. You can see it on the Facebook page. You can see it on the X page, and you can have a read of it. I won't bore you with the mumbo jumbo, but it's definitely something that you probably might want to look at. So going forward, this is what it's going to be. And I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. I know that everybody over at Fuel is thrilled about it. I know everybody over at Gateway was thrilled about it, and we're happy to go forward. And so that's what we're going to do. I do have a couple of updates on some house cleaning things that we're going to be working on. Obviously, I don't want to do that one yet because we we have to make a couple of adjustments. We have to make a couple of changes to some of this stuff because we've got new things and we've got new sponsors that we're going to talk about. And we will get to that. I do want to preface that we will be doing another Battlehawk ticket game day giveaway like we did last week. But this next one is going to be more than likely in prime time. And it will be a special edition show. We will set it up and we will get it done. And it's going to be for this next upcoming game on, I believe, June the 1st. Unless something else changes for some other reason. But we'll get it set up for that. And, I hope the last week's winner enjoyed the game in section 140 and had a blast. I know that he was planning on taking his son to his very first football game, and that's what it's all about, is being able to do that kind of stuff, and that's what we hope to do. Obviously, we don't do anything halfway around here. We do it the whole way. Parking was included, and it will be included in this next one too as well. So make sure that you are paying attention to the social account and everything else, so that way we can get everything set up on this next giveaway. There's a lot of stuff happening in the sports world, and I know that some of the upcoming shows are going to be talking about some of this stuff. When it comes to Caitlin Clark and what's going on in the WNBA. I know that there's still a lot of kind of talk about the Cardinals baseball situation, kind of what's going on there. Are there going to be changes made? We're seeing a really, really great season out of Skeens, the Pirates pitcher, number one prospect that's come up and kind of lit the league on fire as far as pitching is concerned. There's still the Shohei Ohtani gambling accusations, all that stuff that's flying around. If you watched when that news came out and you watched that show that I put out about 24 hours removed from that announcement coming out, and obviously I'd already heard prior rumblings before it ever officially came out that that's what was going to happen. I was pretty even animated in that show, and it had a lot to do with because of what's happened in the past and how baseball has handled gambling up to this point, which has been very, I'll just be frankly honest, piss poor. So my thought is okay, his interpreter stole money, and that interpreter is now going to be charged and it's going to go through the whole system and everything else. But now that we're finding out that one of his good friends, who's also a baseball player, is now under investigation for the same stuff. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, the old saying? Just saying. We might be looking at that situation here. And so are we now going to give a pass to Major League Baseball's golden boy for illegally betting on baseball? Because now we have not just one connection, we now have two connections that are closely corresponded with him. Again, I'm not accusing him of anything, but if you're going to throw other people under the bus for the gambling stuff, you got to go after them all. You got to do it. And so it's going to be interesting to see how baseball is going to handle the Shohei Ohtani situation going forward. I don't like it anymore because it gives a black eye to baseball, but that's what it is. They're going to have to figure it out. Go back and watch my past show on Shohei Ohtani on the Field Sports Network. And you can go to fieldsportsnetwork.com and go check it out. Scott, makes a good point here. It's just like steroids. They knew they were all doing steroids. They took it the other way. Same thing here. Absolutely. That's exactly what the situation is. It's whenever it's convenient for the league, whether that's baseball, football, soccer, whatever, the NBA. if it's inconvenient, it's, the old phrase, an inconvenient truth. If it's an inconvenient truth for them, it's obviously quite ironic that they managed to make it go away, right? They make it kind of manage. One thing I want to point out, when we were watching football in the 80s, right? Does anybody really honestly think that football players in the 80s weren't using performance enhancing drugs, or they weren't using cocaine, or they weren't using, using and abusing prescription drugs, if there wasn't that kind of stuff going on? There was a lot. There's a lot of that stuff going on. And so, I can't help to think to myself about all the players just in football, let's say for NFL, for example. Let's go back in time. In the early 2000s, there was a defensive end that played for the St. Louis Rams by the name of Leonard Little. He was involved in a drunk driving incident that killed someone. Look it up. It's quite this tale. It's quite the story. Okay. I'm not going to get deep down into it. I'm not going to start, getting into that stuff, because I know some people take it really, really hard, but it's an inconvenient truth. With one of the greatest, if not the greatest linebacker of all time in Lawrence Taylor for the New York Giants. We've all known he struggled with substance abuse over the years. Where do you think he started that? Or where do you think it really was a major problem? It's in the NFL during the 80s. There was a lot of things that went on that people kind of do revisionist history that don't want to really acknowledge that this stuff happened. In baseball, steroids were rampant in the late 80s into the early 90s. Rampant. And anybody that says, "Oh, well, I didn't see it. I didn't know it was going on." It's kind of the plausible deniability factor. I call it ostriching, right? Bury your head in the sand and just pretend it's not happening and it'll just go away. Well, it's not. It's not going to go away. It's not going to change. The fans have to change it, because the system doesn't care. Because the system makes money. But until it comes to a point where the system says, we're going to hurt financially here, whether it be Major League Baseball, the NFL, MLS, NHL, NBA. I mean, look how bad cocaine was in the NBA in the 70s and the 80s. I mean, it was bad, even up into the 90s. Do I need to the A Train, Arlington Lane, my main man that does a lot of NBA talk. Okay. Jersey, my main man that does a lot of NBA talk, does a lot of NFL talk. Do I need to bring them in to have them tell everybody about what was going on in those time frames, in those periods with recreational drugs and what was happening? Because it was a lot. And it happened right underneath the nose of these organizations, and they knew it, but they just didn't do anything about it, because inconvenient truth, plausible deniability, ostriching, head in the sand, it'll go away and we'll be okay. Do I need to bring up the Ray Lewis incident during the Super Bowl in 2000 with the Rams from 99 going into 2000 when they played against the Tennessee Titans, and what happened at the nightclub with Ray Lewis and his entourage? That's a really good point. We're going to be having potentially a special guest coming on here shortly. So just want to let you know, if somebody happens to pop in and we start having a conversation, we might do that. We'll see. We'll see if they're able to make it. I don't want to name names. I don't want to get people excited, but we may have something going on there. Now, again, looking over my shoulder right here, you see my Warren Moon official autographed jersey. I'm a huge Warren Moon fan, but anybody that's really followed football knows Warren Moon comes with some asterisks, comes with some warning labels. And that's unfortunate. And we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that coming up after this break, because we got segmentation. We got to start doing segmentation. I know it sucks, but that's what we got to do around here. We got to start doing that. So we'll be right back right after these messages from our sponsors. As Kramer said in the episode in Seinfeld when he had the Merv Griffin show layout, we're back. We are back. I do want to touch with everybody on that lovely commercial that you saw. MacDougall Bats. MacDougall Bats is now an official sponsor of the Fuel Sports Network, and we are offering a code for you guys. And that code is Fuel Sports Network. When you go over to MacDougall Bat Company or MacDougallBats.com and you order your very own MacDougall Bat, I have my very own MacDougall Bat right here. It is a wonderful, beautiful piece of equipment. This MacDougall Bat, made in the USA, built right out there in Oregon, local area, family operated. We've got the sport right here, but MacDougall Bat Company, Fuel Sports Network is your code to get a 20% discount on your very own, and you can personalize these bats. This is my personalized M10 Powerwood right here from MacDougall Bat Company. You got to go check them out at MacDougallBats.com. And remember, don't forget, use the code Fuel Sports Network. Spurge, how's it going, my man?
Stop. So, Derek, a lot of exciting things have happened here at Fuel and with Gateway City Sports. I'm out, just a little. I am out enjoying this beautiful day. You're on the air, and I just wanted to be one of the first to say on this show that I don't know if you've done it because I'm out busy all the time, but there has been a merger between Gateway City Sports and Fuel Sports Network where we have combined into one to provide the best fan-centric content. Actually, now we are the largest, if I'm not mistaken, maybe one of the largest fan-centric networks out there of providing fan content. And for that, I want to say personally on the air, on the Derek King Show, thank you for this merger. And the future looks bright for this new venture that we are in.
We're going to, and we did bring this up at the very beginning of the show, but I'm very glad and appreciative that you graced us with your luxurious presence, because it's been a hot minute since.
It has been a hot minute since I've been on this show.
Since the Spurge has been on a show, period. You popped in occasionally.
I think the last time I was on this show, I went by a different name.
You may have.
I maybe. I can't remember.
We may have had a different terminology instead of. Are we calling you Spurge or the Spurge? Is that because I want the fans to know? Our minds want to know.
How about we leave that up to the boss, Arlington, the A-Train Lane? What we call me. How about we leave it up to him?
He is the boss.
He is the boss. He is the boss.
Well, somebody's got to have control of this out of control train. Just really.
That is true. So, hey, his name is Train. So he's got to have control of the out of control train. So that's why we made him the boss of this merger.
And now refer to him as the conductor.
You know what? I like that. And, look, let's give a lot of shots out to Ron Nuttall, who, believes in this vision. Our man Kevin out there in Vegas, who is making a name for the Fuel Sports Network with all of his credentials that he's got in the Vegas area with the Nighthawks, the WNBA with the Aces, the professional volleyball team. I mean, the list can go on and on with what Jersey or what Kevin has done out there in Vegas for the Fuel Sports Network. It's just been a great thing. What Ron and them guys do with, the soccer show that they have. I mean, there's so many shows I can't even think of all the names anymore.
At the Park, it's on the Fuel Sports Network. At the Park, it's an MLS kind of centric, St. Louis City specific. They are huge. Ron is a huge fan of St. Louis City.
Right.
We have a great relationship at Fuel with St. Louis City SC. We love their product. We love what they're doing in the world. But, obviously what they're talking about over there, go over to Apple Podcasts, find it. It's right over there. It's over on the website.
Right.
www.fuelsportsnetwork.com is the new website. Go check it out. But yes, we've got all of these different things going on. And again, I stress, like you had said, with Jersey and what he's got going on.
Well, here,
Vegas. I mean, the amount
right here.
Oh,
right, with the good doctor.
Dress this, if you will.
With the good doctor who wrote a great book. Go to Amazon. Look up For the Love of the Show. I'm a chapter in that book. I know Derek has read that book. We are starting a new show called For the Love of the Show, and it's going to be fan-centric stories of how they're going to tell their stories of what sports has done for them in their lives and stuff like that. So that's a new show that we're going to have coming. I mean, the possibilities are now endless for Fuel. And for this, there's just so much that we got going on. We're going to have another great show called The GOAT, where it's going to be talking about, it's going to be like a Mount Rushmore type, greatest of all time type shows. Like you mentioned Shohei Ohtani with his gambling and how he threw his guy underneath the bus. I mean, is Shohei Ohtani the greatest Japanese player to ever come out of Japan? I don't know. You'll have to tune into
let's
do the GOAT show to find out.
We'll look at this. I'll just mention one name and one name alone that he's got to overcome. That's Ichiro.
That's why I said, is he the greatest? You'll have to too. Well, no, good doctor, we just said that, but you'll have to tune in to the show to find out how it lines up, where Shohei lines up on that list. Now, is he one of possibly the greatest two-way player? There's a good shot he might be, you know what I mean? But that's just some of the stuff that we're going to be doing on Fuel.
Right. That's and then let's not also forget we've got.
I like this new camera layout the way that is.
How do you like all of that? All
I
these.
do.
We're professional around here. It's like we might actually know what in the hell we're doing. It might actually be a real production.
We're not basement dwellers anymore.
Well, I mean, weren't we told at one point in time that we didn't have a reach or something like that?
But that's in the past. Who cares? It doesn't matter anymore. This is about the fans, and this is why this merger happened.
That's right. It is about the fans. And again, I want to point something out, and JR says, congrats on the accomplishment. Thank you. We appreciate that, JR.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. We appreciate your service too, by the way.
Right. Well, JR, it's like guys like JR, why this merger actually happened, Derek. I know that me, you, and Arlington had a lot of talks of why this needed to happen. And we were all three hesitant on one side of why it should happen. Mm-hmm. And then it got to a point to where we saw where we were going. We're like, I think it's necessary for us to do it. And it kind of happened. So that's really how it happened.
Well, and I'd also like to stress to all the fans out there, and again, you go back and look at the press release. We have a wonderful PR department that is running all of that stuff now, and they have that press release out there, and go check it out. It's on all the social pages. It's we're going to have it put up on the website too as well. But this is all about the fans. It's always been about the fans. That's why when we thought about Gateway City and we built it, we wanted to be different and we wanted to have that fan-centric base. You guys had an extreme amount of success with all sorts of different ventures over the last 6-7 years that you've been doing this. You know,
a lot of hard
all
work,
different iterations, a lot of hard work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into building the fan base that you guys, and by the way, a passionate one at that.
Jesus, these guys are nuts, and I love them. I love them. They're nuts. I love them.
And that's, but that's what makes it exciting and fun every single time that we pop in and we do a show. I remember, for the first few times that I had popped over and done shows from Gateway City and started to kind of cross broadcast over on the Fuel, meeting some of these fans, I was really like, wow, you know, these, not only are they smart, like they know their sports and they know their stuff but they are so passionate about it. And that's what made me feel good about the entire process of what we were working on and what we were doing.
Well, and I always told people, I was like, listen, this Fuel family, it's a different type of breed. It's an anomaly of how these fans have gravitated to this. And I mean, I know I sit here and I give the fans trouble all the time and I call them all idiots and all that. But I mean, deep down in my heart, I absolutely love every single one of these fans that follow us and support us in all these shows. And I see it with how they're giving shows like yours now the love. Shows like Kevin's, they're giving the love too. Bottom line, they're giving you love too. And I mean, the two great shows that we've added just in the past couple of weeks with the Girl Chat Sport and the A-Team with RC.
Right.
How the fans are giving them the love. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. So, you know, that's something. Hey, I want to.
It's just unbelievable how the fans of Fuel have branched away from me and Arlington and our little bitty show called the XFL STL Talk Show, and how they branched out and show the love to all these other shows. I mean, the Smoking Guns, you know, the Hellraisers. I mean, the list can just go on and on and on. How this Fuel family.
And there's more coming.
Right. You know, and I love each and every one of them for it.
Right. And well, but let me interrupt too on that standpoint. And I want to address a couple of shows in particular. The one show that I really want to touch on is the A-Team.
Yes.
You guys have over on Fuel that has just started in the last about 3-4 weeks.
I think this will be their fourth show. Their fourth show.
Their numbers have been absolutely astronomical. They have been fantastic. The fans have been amazing. And just to kind of give the fans that are tuning in out there in the video scoop right now and that are watching it, you guys, especially the ladies out there, this is definitely a show for you. When you're talking about the ladies, you're talking about the moms, you're talking about the, you know, that love sports and that have kids in sports, or maybe, you know, in certain instances you have kids with, you know, special needs and they can't necessarily play sports, but they love sports and they want to be involved. But, you know, it's this struggle that moms have. And again, us as dads, right, as the male figures, we don't necessarily reciprocate a lot of these things in kind. There's things that don't get discussed that moms deal with on a daily basis, and we give them that holiday, that Mother's Day once a year. Every day should be Mother's Day, guys. I know there's a lot of guys out there that feel the way I do. And with my wife and the amazing things that she does, being a professional, doing the things that she does on a daily basis, you know, being the breadwinner, making the money, and then still coming home and being a mom. I mean, that mommy guilt, it's a real thing, guys. You need to really, really take account to that. And that show is going to be that going forward. I mean, that's what it's about. It's not only just the relationship of the sports, but it's also the family dynamic and aspect of it and how critically important it is. And I want to empower all you boys out there that are watching the show, because you know how wild and crazy it gets with some of us guys around here. Turn your ladies onto the show. You know, just set them loose on it. Say, hey, listen, you may not like all these other sports shows because it's more kind of dude oriented and kind of the male aspect of it. But hey, check this show out. It's going to be a great show. They had Dr. Aaron Shannon on. Dr. Aaron Shannon is the daughter of the late great Mike Shannon.
Yep.
You know, they had an amazing show with that aspect. Did huge, massive numbers, and we're so happy for them on that. And we're going to continue that theme. And obviously, you can see with my show, my show, I've started to kind of adapt it, and we talk, we're wrestling guys, right? We love the wrestling aspect of everything. And
well, yeah, right here, like what Kevin just said. Hey, Fuel fans, we're also going to have a paranormal show coming. There's a lot coming to Fuel, which you could find that on Friday nights. Which, yeah, everybody's like, well, it's not a sports show per se, but no, they have athletes that come on. I mean, let's not get it twisted. The acronym for Fuel is Fans United.
Right.
It's an experience. So there's fans for everything, and it's about uniting these fan bases. I mean, like we were so, like you said, we were so male heavenly driven. So we created, what's up, Wyatt? We created the A-Team show. We got the Girl Chat Sports show. Like, you want to hear, I mean, we're creating that content for the women that they can get into and stuff like that. And that, I mean, with the A-Team, yes, Gibson, I am a stupid idiot. I 100% agree with you. But, with the A-Team and the Girl Chat Sports show, you're getting a different kind of flavor that you're not seeing at any other network. You're not seeing these women-driven shows.
No.
And on our network, you were seeing that.
And that's a very, very critical core component of, what we're discussing about being, unilaterally a fan, United Experience Legion, the acronym that is Fuel. That's the whole point, is that we're united as a fan base and as a group. And that's why we're doing all of this stuff. And
Derek, I didn't mean to get you in trouble, because I know you're going to get in trouble from Arlington because you already went over 1:45.
Listen, I am now the CEO, so I can do what I want. And if I want to run a double, I can run a double. And
you're going to get in trouble.
I might get in trouble with the boss, but he'll have to just deal with it. He'll give me
he'll slap your hand, right? But hey, there was another reason why I wanted to jump on, because I wanted to say congratulations on the merger, and whether Arlington wants to know it or not, I'm going to jump on his show later, and I'm going to bombard his show because I haven't just had the time. Had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff dealing with, But I want to talk about the Shohei Ohtani thing. Man, if you don't ban Shohei Ohtani, if the MLB doesn't have the cojones to ban Shohei Ohtani, then what precedent does that set? You have Pete Rose, who bet on baseball. You ban him. The greatest hitter, has the most hits in MLB history, but you ban him. Regardless if Shohei says, well, I didn't know my guy was taking that money. Come on, Shohei, you did know. So you're a double-edged sword with this. And, and then you talk about, Derek, you also mentioned the whole late 80s and 70s of basketball, right?
Right.
Watch Winning Time. I mean, dude, Magic Johnson, to me, one of the greatest players of all time. Dude, sitting there snorting coke in the locker room before playing games. I mean, listen, to say that these drugs are not rampant in these games, and to say that steroids aren't rampant in these games and have Bidway, well, I get it. I get that Rose was being an a-hole about it. I get it. I get that. But come on. You did it for one, you got to do it for the other. It's that simple.
But here's the thing. The good doctor is not wrong. And again,
I agree. I'm just saying.
You're talking to someone who's argued that Pete Rose point more than anybody. Anybody out there. I've argued that Pete Rose point. But,
right.
Yeah, Pete Rose is not a nice guy. But therefore, I still ask the same question to the good doctor, to everyone else out there in this realm. I ask you, is it the Hall of Fame or the Hall of Moral Superiority? What is it?
I mean, that's a good question. That is a good question.
Do you know how many murderers sit in the Hall of Fame?
I can name one. I can name at least one that was a former Cardinal player, but I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get defamation of character.
Right.
That's all I got to say on that one.
Stating a fact. I'm just following it up. How many of those guys were known abusers? that were known just bad dudes that did bad.
I mean,
sitting in the Hall of Fame today.
Yeah, you talked about LT, Lawrence Taylor, possibly the greatest linebacker to ever literally change the game of football and the way that you prepare for a single defensive player. He has came on his on air plenty of times and has said, yes, I am a recovering addict in all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And I mean, maybe Kevin's right, and maybe you're right, Derek, and maybe the good doctor is right, that it is a moral thing. Maybe it is. Maybe it should be called the Hall of Fame of morality. I don't know. I look at it this way. If you do it for one, you need to do it across the board for all.
Yep.
Again, we can't put that comment up, good doctor, but
no.
That's alleged. That's alleged. It's alleged. It doesn't mean that it's true. It's just alleged.
Allegedly.
Just like, Derek, when you said that Ray Lewis was alleged accused of murder. He was wasn't found guilty.
Yet not guilty that he wasn't involved, but yet still that lingers over his legacy. That hangs over his head. And we sit there and we look at LT and we go, well, LT, guess what? LT did a lot of the same stuff Pete Rose did.
That's true. Well, look, let's not forget the big one that everybody's talking about, OJ.
OJ's
if you really think about it, OJ really set the precedent for sports athletes with endorsements and all that stuff. You didn't see athletes get the endorsements that OJ did. I mean, let's really think about it. In that time, OJ was the main face of Hertz rental car. OJ was. Again, OJ was alleged.
He was on NBC.
Right.
He was doing broadcasting. He was in movies. Let's not forget the Naked Gun movies he was in. There's a lot of stuff that he was doing at the time whenever all this went down.
So you can argue, what's the difference? OJ's in the Hall of Fame, so what is the difference? Hell, Tom Brady's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and it was proven that he did Deflategate. You know what I mean? He proved that he did Deflategate, but he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He cheated to win Super Bowls. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's just really going to. I mean, it's on how you look at it and how you want to turn your head to it. Is basically what it is. Does it make it right? No. But that's just how it works.
But here's the thing. Look over my shoulder. What do you see?
I see a Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner's. Now, let me ask you a question. How many things has Kurt Warner been embroiled into? How many accusations? How many salacious stories?
None that I could think of.
Okay, Isaac Bruce.
None that I can think of.
Torrey Holt.
None that I can think of. But listen, hold on. Kurt Warner deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt are soft. They don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Maybe Isaac Bruce, not Torrey Holt. Maybe Isaac Bruce, not Torrey Holt. Torrey Holt was soft. Couldn't go across the middle. Okay,
we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one.
That might be for a GOAT show, right? Here, I'll give you another point. LeBron James. People hate on LeBron James. Okay? But how much trouble has LeBron James been into? How much have you seen about LeBron James? None. Look, I'm not a LeBron James fan, but I will say this. LeBron James, what he does outside of the court as a philanthropist is a phenomenal man, a phenomenal guy. I mean, look, I'm a Michael Jordan fan. And Michael Jordan basically got suspended, but retired because he was gambling. He's in the Hall of Fame.
And remember, now, again, to the uninitiated, right? Let's go back into the mid-90s.
LeBron did not ruin basketball. Stop it. Stop it. He did not ruin basketball.
Basketball was fundamentally changed by LeBron James.
Easy there. Easy on that one.
The game has fundamentally changed since he came into the NBA.
Easy there.
let's go ahead and let's put a bow tie on that, because that's going to be another topic for another day. But we go back to the Michael Jordan thing in the early mid 90s during his, retirement.
Right.
We know what went on. And for the uninitiated, he was heavily accused of gambling. There was a lot of other things. The mysterious death of his father during that time frame. A lot of other stuff that had went on. There was a lot of accusations. I implore everybody to go back
put a bow tie on that, because I got to stick up for LeBron. Listen, I'm 48 years old, and as I've gotten older, I've gotten soft. LeBron's gotten older. That's why he's gotten soft. So shut up, Kevin. Shut up.
The good doctor saying that he dominate. Just look at his size, look at his build. Now,
that's true.
Again, but yet here's somebody who would know. Again, Jordan was a habitual gambler. He was. I don't know about nowadays, but look at how he's kind of ran NBA franchises at this point.
It's not very good.
Not very well.
I love Jordan, but not very good.
Draft. Yeah, it's not all that well. Right, so again, we could go down that pathway, and this is kind of a nice little segue into what's going to be coming soon is Goat Talk. Goat Talk is going to come to the network, and we're going to be talking about all of this stuff. We're going to be talking about some of the greatest players of all time in every single sport, from NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, boxing, MMA, NHL, you name it. We're going to talk about all of it. And we're going to give our Mount Rushmores, and we're going to talk about our analysis into what makes these players some of the greatest players of all time. Let's also not forget, there's going to be other shows that are coming. We're going to have a special wrestling show that's going to be coming, a couple of special wrestling shows that are going to be coming. And we're going to be talking about all sorts of different types of content and things of that nature. And, we're going to have a bunch of fun stuff, aren't we?
We are. And, I know that we have a lot of things coming in the works. I know that we're looking at doing sort of like documentary type stuff. See, look, we got the Players Perspective show where it's with big oh Jesus, Kevin, help me with his name. Yes, we got sweet tickets. DeAndre Francois, Big Ham, where they give you a player's perspective on the game of football, of how they see football, which is a very interesting show. And that's only a Fuel exclusive. So you got to download it on Roku or our Amazon Fire Stick app to where you can see players' perspective, because it's only a Fuel exclusive. Just like, oh, well, thank you. Thank you for going to Amazon and getting the Good Doctor's book, because it's all about wrestling. And he's got other great books coming out soon.
Go get it. Go to Amazon for the love of the show. Get your copy. Get it today, and you can even get it signed. Go ahead and try to find a way to be able to get that signed, because I know the Good Doctor will be more than happy to do that for you.
Yeah, look, it's a quick read. It's right at 100 pages, but it's very interesting. There's some great stories in there. There's a story about Derek Baker, the kid on TikTok who gets to go to all of these wrestling events, and you get to see how they treat him. He's got a story about a girl named Izzy, who was a 12-year-old little girl who idolized Bayley from the WWE and has now become a wrestler in Mission Pro Wrestling out in San Antonio. A lot of great stories, and the funniest story is the Orlando story that we had, the trip to Orlando. I will never plan a trip again with the Good Doctor because he's cheap. He's cheap and likes to stay in flop houses. That's all I'll say.
What you're telling me is that he's a lot like what we've heard about Mick Foley, about being a really cheap traveler.
Oh yeah. The Good Doctor. I love the Good Doctor, but yeah, he's you get the name Doctor in front of your name, you think there's something big, but no, he's pretty cheap. Yeah, we stayed at a few flop houses.
Listen, cheap is smart. Cheap is smart.
Okay. Yeah, gotta keep it cheap. Not when you walk out of an elevator and there's somebody laying there passed out. Just go read the book. That's all I got to say about that. And you'll hear the stories. That's all I'm going to say. It's not appropriate for a daytime show.
Even he admits it. You got to keep it cheap. You got to travel smart. You got to travel smart. Well, I mean, let me ask you a question. If you're going to go out to dinner that night and you want to go out to a good restaurant, you don't want to be eating at your local Applebee's or whatever. You want to go to a nice steakhouse and you want to get a nice steak. You know, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to find a way.
We still ain't doing that with him. He's like, oh, let's go to McDonald's. I mean, that's how. I mean, yeah, no.
Well, here's the thing.
We ate at a catfish out of a food truck at one of our hotels. Go read the book. It's all in the book. You can read it. It's all in the book.
Well, I will say that I can't say because I don't eat fast food anymore.
Look, he goes, I even packed my own lunch.
I don't eat fast food, but I don't eat fast food anymore. I just don't, and that's my choice. It's my prerogative. I still like the cherry Dr. Pepper though, so don't criticize me on that. You got to have the cherry Dr. Pepper. You know how it goes. But you know the thing is it's smart, and again that brings me back to a comment earlier on, and I'm going to scroll back through it. I'm going to find it here, but just talking about financial responsibility. JR said it. That, you know, making fun of some of these NFL players, NBA, MLB, that got huge contracts, you know, all this other stuff, but they're really smart financially and not ending up like Antonio Brown right now filing for bankruptcy, where he made all the money in the world, but yet here he is, and he's bankrupt.
Well, it's funny that you say, because I always remember this one story, and it was with actually the I always mess up his first name, but Mayo, the head coach of the New England Patriots right now, right? And I didn't believe it when he said it. He goes, you know, when you're drafted by the Patriots, Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft put you through a financial class to show you how to save your money and invest your money. I never believed that, you know, because you don't believe that kind of stuff, right? And then I remember listening to a certain show on Sirius XM where they had Robert Kraft and they had Tom Brady. And sure enough, Robert Kraft said it was in my mission when I bought that team is that every player I drafted, I was going to put them through a financial class. I was going to help finish their college if they didn't, you know, if they came out and did that. So, I mean, but yeah, you're right. They all do it now, but this was before that. Robert Kraft implemented that in his system, that this is what he was going to do for all of his players. And I think it should be a thing across the board for all these players, and now it is.
Right. Let's also remember, too, this was back, you know, when he started this is back when all the guaranteed contracts, the huge contracts. Yes. Remember Sam Bradford's $80+ million, $88 million contract that he had coming out of Oklahoma when he signed with the Rams in St. Louis at the time. And that guy has made more money than any other person I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, especially in football. I mean, that guy has made more money, and hopefully he was financially smart. I know there's some players that were financially smart. Mark Bulger was pretty financially smart. Kurt Warner was pretty financially smart. You know, I know some players that have been pretty smart with their money. You look at Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal's a great example of someone who's made a ton of money, but has turned around and made some really smart investments with that money.
Exactly. Now, you see, and let's talk about the NIL deals that these kids have. I honestly think now all of these athletes that are getting these NIL deals, and there's these student athletes that are now getting NIL deals, I think it should be mandatory that they do some kind of financial bookkeeping type class moving forward. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have a feeling that it's something that should be implemented. If you're going to take an NIL deal, then you should automatically have to take some kind of accounting, finance class, or bookkeeping class, so you don't end up in this way. Because, you know, you get these kids before that were coming out of college and getting $50 million, right? And boom, what happens? I mean, go watch the ESPN documentary called Broke, 60 to 30 for 30. Yeah, a great documentary. How these guys were, you know, and I mean, this just isn't, this isn't just minority athletes. This is white athletes. This is all athletes across the board.
And to be honest with you, it's a lot more white athletes don't get talked about as far as losing money and making bad investments and doing things. Again, I will use Tyreek Hill for an example, right? People in this market, in the Missouri, kind of central market, Kansas City, know Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, and he has a lot of different kids from a lot of different people. And he just wants to have kids. So I mean, who's going to knock him? Hey, as long as he's taking care of his kids, right? Who really cares? So why criticize him if he's just, he's living his life, he's doing what he's doing, as long as he's taking care of his responsibilities.
Right. I mean, listen, Nick Cannon. People want to knock Nick Cannon. The dude's got a basketball team. But guess what? Do you see any of Nick Cannon's ex-wives saying, or children's mothers saying he's not providing for them? No, you don't see that. He's providing for them. Same with Tyreek Hill. You don't see his mother saying that he's not providing for his children. He is. So it doesn't matter. But I mean, like, you look at all this. I mean, like, here, prime example, Mike Webster, the guy who really got us into the whole CTE thing, was broke when he shot himself and killed himself because he was broke and had CTE. This is a football player that was broke after all those years of giving up his body. Junior Seau, another one who was almost broke
way too long. And the only reason he continued to keep playing was because of money. But he suffered severely from CTE. He ended his life due to the effects of CTE. And obviously the insurance policy had a lot of issues with that too as well. And it's a sad state.
It is
that these players feel like they have to continue to keep putting even with boxers. Let's give a great example. We have this Mike Tyson fight coming up, right? And he is fighting one of the Paul boys. Is it Jake Paul?
Jake Paul.
Right? So he's fighting Jake Paul, a YouTuber who shook his ass on YouTube videos to gain popularity. And now all of a sudden he's this tough fighter. And now he's out here and he's fighting cream puff fighters. He's not fighting anybody legit. He's fighting everybody who washed up or wiped out, or somebody who wasn't even a boxer that fought in some other different type of a sport. And now here we are. We've got a situation in a scenario where he's going to go fight possibly one of the biggest, if not the biggest, marquee draw in boxing history. Mike Tyson. What are we doing?
I mean, look.
What, 60?
Yeah, 50, 58. You could say that Jake Paul has saved boxing now. He might have. But, I mean, here, prime example, another boxer. Tommy Morrison, when he died, he was broke.
Right.
He was broke.
Broke, AIDS, HIV, the whole
broke.
And had, just denied that diagnosis for years. Oh, I don't have it. That's not true. You guys are just trying to undermine me and hurt me. No, he had it, and that's why he never fought again.
Well, I mean, here, okay, prime example.
Remember again what they classified him as, the great white hope. He was the guy that was going to come in, and he was going to, change boxing and all this other stuff. And what did he end up doing? Where did he end up going?
Right, yeah. Here, prime example. You got guys like, let's go to wrestling. Look how many of these wrestlers that are broke. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Ric Flair, how many times has he filed for bankruptcy because he was broke, right? I mean,
and get this. Now that he's doing this marijuana stuff, right?
Right.
He's doing all of this special marijuana. He's made more money in the last 2 years doing that than he's made almost his entire career prior. He has made more money, but he has to live that Ric Flair drip. He has to live that Ric Flair profile, that Ric Flair lifestyle. He has to wheel and deal. He has to be the limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling dealing, kiss stealing, son of a gun, Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing. He has to live that. It's his existence, what he is.
Right. See, we focus on all the main sports and all these athletes who are broke. We focus on the baseball, we focus on the football and about this, right? But I mean, you look, man. You look at guys like Marty Jannetty, who was at the top of his game back in the late '80s, early '90s. Now look at him. Look at him. Dude sitting in a wheelchair, about ready to get his leg lopped off because of all the drugs and all the abuse that he's done to his body. Flat broke. You know what I'm saying? Just broke.
Again, the accusations that swirl around Marty Jannetty and about things that, he's went on his own social profiles and has stated that he's done horrible things.
But the thing with right, yeah. So this isn't just a basketball thing, a baseball thing, a football thing. This is all professional sports where the majority of these athletes are broke 5 to 10 years once they leave that sport because they have, right here. Drugs ruin a lot of these guys. Absolutely agree. And Derek, like you said earlier, if you don't think that these drugs were prevalent, I know you didn't want to get into all this, Derek, because you were having a really good show, and then I just came on and jacked it all up.
We're doing what we're doing, you see, because it's an open format. We can talk about whatever we want.
And this is kind of what the Goat Talk is going to be about,
More or less,
stuff like this, right?
Guessing about this kind of stuff.
Right, yeah. But, you look at this. This just doesn't baseball, football, hockey, and basketball. This is all sports where these guys are usually 5 to 10 years after they're done. They're broke. They're broke. Yeah. Like Jersey said, these guys are not out here spending their money correctly, and it ruins them as well. You're right. Because I think that there needs to be some kind of standard, but you are starting to see it change though with these newer. Good morning, Excalibur.
I've got to stop it right here. The Excalibur of Lou.
Right.
Gracing us with your luxurious presence, with your glorious presence within these hallowed halls of the Fuel Sports Network. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all that you do. And we will be seeing you at the upcoming games.
Yeah. So, it's just how you got to look at it. Derek, you know what? I think that might be a really good show for the Go Talk. The 4 greatest athletes that are actually ruined and broke.
Yeah, that's something that definitely will get discussed. And by the way, Sandy, I don't know who you're referring to. Dirty? There's no dirty here. There's no dirty. This is, as you see in the name in the lower corner, it's Spurge. This is the Spurge. Dirty has taken a permanent hiatus from the Fuel Sports Network.
Maybe just a little.
Just a teensy bit.
Right. Yeah. But Derek, I got to get back to work.
Right. And I got to wrap this thing up. We're too hard. We're too hard out. We got to wrap this.
We're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, we're going to get in trouble with the boss. So we got to make sure that we wrap it up and get off of here because I don't want to get my hiney spanked.
Yeah. I might like it though.
I don't know who the guy is. This is Spurge over here. This guy over here, that's the Spurge.
What's up, Gene?
Gene, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you this morning. Glad you could pop in. Sandy says she didn't get the memo.
Oh,
you didn't get the memo? You ain't been watching the shows? Well,
you gotta love Sandy.
Sandy, we love you, Sandy. We love you, Sandy.
He goes, the program director will cut you off. Look, I got to give Sandy's been a huge supporter of ours, and her daughter just had some surgery to repair some stuff. So, so our best of luck to Sandy and her daughter. Sandy's been really busy with some family stuff. So best of luck to her. Your thoughts and prayers from the Fuel family go out to you and your daughter, Sandy, for a speedy recovery.
And we'll be thinking about you guys as much as
that's it. I'm done, Derek. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm out too. I got to shut this thing down because I don't want to get in trouble.
We're going to.
Guys, thank you so much. Dirty. I went right back to it. Spurge, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming on, man.
No worries. I appreciate it.
All right. See you later, buddy. Well, everybody, this is Derek King with Derek King Show. Thank you so much on the Fuel Sports Network. here we are, www.fuelsportsnetwork.com. Go over to the new website, new and improved website. We're adding more to it every day. Make sure that you go to McDougallBats.com. These are BB Core certified. They're certified at every level below pro. So you could use them in high school. You can use them at, at all the other levels all the way up into college. And these are, like I said before, laminated bats. These are a special design bat. These are not a bomb bat or anything else like that. Anybody that's in the bat biz, you could see how these are designed, and you can see the marks on it. Or I've been smashing the balls with it. I've had it in the cage. Okay, so make sure you go over to their website, check them out. They got lots of different models, fungos, softball, youth league, everything else in between. Make sure you use the discount code Fuel Sports Network and get your discount. All right, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Love you. I will see you back here next Wednesday, but don't forget, we will be doing another giveaway, Battlehawks game day giveaway coming up soon. See you guys then. Talk to you later. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you and love you guys. Thank you so much. See you later.